I'm Chantal Ambrose. I am a dentist and I host a podcast that shares the highs and the lows of the most resilient healthcare businesses. I interview the movers and the shakers of healthcare who courageously push boundaries. So whether you're a startup or needing a push in the right direction, a family business, or just looking for mentorship, join us. He is a dad. He is our CEO of SADA. I'm going to be reading a lot out today, and I don't even think I'll be able to touch base with how much he's accomplished. He's been a managing executive for strategic marketing and partnership. He's been a chief operating manager. He's been a non-executive director. And I would love to introduce to you now Mr. KC Makhubele. I think our first question to start off with is, what do you consider is your managing style that has led you to this path of success?
Thank you so much. So my managing style that I have used even before I came to SADA is what I call management by objectives. If you understand management by objectives, if I can quickly give you a background, in the olden days, many people always gave you tasks, but they manage you by the time that you spend on the task. I am not that kind of a leader. I speak to you and I make sure that you understand what is required of you and by when. The quality, the quantity, all of those things. My expectation is that you will at the end give me what I need in terms of the objective. Of course, in between, I will take time to see how far you have gone. In terms of time, whether it take a short time or a long time, as long as the deadline is met.
Okay, so Casey, you are a people's man then. Your managing style is really you base it on what the individual needs, and then you're also able to actually give them a very fair perspective of how they're going to accomplish that. It's almost like they get to summarize that with you before they move forward. Is that right?
100%.
Yeah, so you're passionate about health and you somehow got into dentistry. Now, how did you get there? If you can just tell us, what was your journey that led us to have you as our leader in SADA?
So it all began when I was at high school. I had a passion to do medicine, and I did medicine at the University of Cape Town. I was the first person, as far as I know, who applied for my school to be at UCT then. I'm talking the 1990s, the 1991, 1992, 1993 there. And I was admitted. So I did medicine for 3 years, but I did not complete my medicine. I thought I would go back, but instead of going back, I ventured into business where I ended up in strategy. But my passion to work in health, whether it's oral health or general health, and mixing it with business strategy remained. And then I was actually headhunted to apply or to come to be interviewed at SADA, and I got the job.
It's really hard to engage a team that is so diverse as yours. How do you get there?
I think you need to understand your team. What is the key motivator of every individual in that organization, and try and meet that motivation need of that particular individual. That is the first thing that I look at. I actually know each team member, including our cleaner. I know her. I understand where she comes from. I know the children that she has, and I know her difficulties, her challenges. I know. So when I speak to her, I speak with that understanding. But overall, I believe motivating teams requires a combination of empathy as well as clear communication. And what I try to do as a leader, I foster a culture of open dialogue. My door, when we're in the office, is always open. You do not need to go through my PA to come and talk to me. You literally can. I also have a glass door, so everyone can see what I'm doing behind the desk every time. And I sit in the middle of my team, so everyone has got access to me, and they pass via my office anytime and they say hello. But I think ultimately is to acknowledge each team member's contribution and aligning our goals with a shared purpose. I make sure that everyone understands what I'm trying to achieve every year or for the next 5 years If you speak to my members or my team members, my colleagues, my friends, they will tell you exactly what we are trying to achieve as an organization. I have regular team interactions, recognition of achievement, and providing growth opportunities. These are integral if you're going to keep the motivations high. But generally, is be closer to your team members in a good way that they know that when you have a meeting with them, I don't just talk business, but I talk about anything else that affects the work that they do.
Okay, so that's really fascinating, because I think when we are on the other side of the table, a lot of people describe this feeling of not really being seen as a person any longer, but just seen as an employee. And I think you've expanded that to see the person and the employee. So you see the weakness together with the strength, and you put that together and you move forward. And would you share with us some of the obstacles you've had to overcome to get where you are, and any type of advice that you would have to someone that's in that position where they can move forward, but there's just that voice in the back of the head that says they can't?
I think the most important thing that holds us back, that has become our prison, it is something that we build ourselves, or we allow circumstances to build around us. It is fear of the unknown. It is the fear of inadequacy. So sometimes, and it has happened in the past, where I get interviewed for a role in an organization and an industry that I've never been. And the first question I ask myself is, will I be able to achieve anything there? Will I be able to do anything that is of value in this organization, because I've never done this work? I have built my own strategies how to deal with that. And every opportunity that comes my way, I accept. What I do is immediately I accept. I immerse myself studying the role, studying the organization, studying the industry, so that I am well informed. And there's not a single organization, and I'll stand just now, but there's no single organization where I have gone and I have not left a legacy. I have been, as an example, in recruitment. Okay, I've been in training. I have been in education, and I have been in the NGO environment, and now I am in dentistry. And in all those platforms, I have left a legacy, because I have said there's nothing that I cannot do. If it can be done, it can be done by me. And I've learned and I've surpassed even the highest expectation of the various organizations that I've worked.
Yeah, and I think that you're one of those really inspiring leaders, because I think you're able to really go past those glass ceilings. You know, I must say, I have to share with our audience that I admire the most about you, that when you are at a meeting, you are one of us. And there's a feeling about you that you're approachable as a leader. I think that you have shown us a new way of leadership in many ways, and in many of the roles that you play. So what does it look like? Who's the KC behind the scenes? What do you do after work?
Yeah, I am married, and I've got three kids now. So stay busy, but I love them to bits. But above that, I always want to do something that is completely different to what I do when I'm wearing a jacket. In other words, my professional work. The first thing is to do with the spirit and the soul. So I am actually an ordained minister and an ordained pastor. I preach. I share the word of God in churches, in writings, and all those type of things. Secondly, I also became an exercise fitness instructor for groups. So what they call a group exercise instructor at Virgin Active. So I would leave and after work and go and then motivate other people to actually get their fitness objectives right. But even more than that, I play squash. It's one of my favorite sports. I used to play soccer and I used to run, but I'm getting old now. So now I play squash because at least I do run there, but it's not something that I run in a big field. I also, by the way, run half marathons, so your 21 kilometers, I still do those. So yeah, those are some of the things that I do outside of the work environment.
Yeah, listen, I'm in awe that you're able to still do all of this with your 3 kids and a huge organization to run. I want to know, for those people that are really finding it difficult, they come home from work, their dads, their mums, but they're not able to give up that time. What is the secret? What is the secret to being able to make some time for family when you're chasing the dream, when you're chasing the career?
So I found that the main key is a balance and focus. So if you focus and you tell yourself, this is what I'm going to do, then you'll be able to achieve. Let me explain this better. I know that when I wake up in the morning, I pray. I've got a specific time that I pray. Then I travel to work if I'm traveling to the office. And between the time that I get to the office and the time that I leave the office, I fully dedicate my time to doing the work that I need to do at that time. And I make sure that I achieve. I've got a booklet that I write everything, my tasks that I want to achieve every day. I make sure that I achieve those things. When I leave there, I know the first thing that I need to do is fetch my kid or spend time with my kid and my family. And it might not happen every day, but I know that I spend time on that day, and they know that this time on this day, it is our time. They can do whatever they want. I will not pull up the laptop. I will not pull up the iPad. I will concentrate and focus on them. I tell them I do other things. So there's days for those things. And when I do those things, they also know that he needs that time to be able to do this. I think it's important for me, and I think it's important for everyone to set time for everything. And when you have set time, try to honor and discipline yourself to actually honor those times that you have set aside, because that will ultimately help you to balance off everything that you do. Set your time, be focused, and be disciplined.
I have to congratulate you on being now an author. How did you get it out there? How did it get from a thought in your mind to something on paper to now something that is actually you can get off a shelf? So tell us a little bit about it.
This is actually a very big milestone for me because it is something that I've always wanted to do. I sat down and go like, I've got so much to share. For instance, the book that you are referring to comes from the fact that at church I've been many times what I call a grief counselor. I've dealt with people that have lost their spouses. It's either you've lost a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a husband or a wife. I've dealt with those people. And over the time, I've created my own content. And I was asking, what legacy can I leave in this space? And the legacy for me has been to write something and put it out there. It's been a challenge because I did not know where to start. I did not know how to write a book. I did not know what to do with the book once I've written. But what I did was I started looking around, speaking to people, connecting with authors and asking them, how did they do it? And over time, I built a process that I could understand and that I'm happy with. In actual fact, through that process, I can tell you to look forward to at least 4 more other titles that are going to be available before December this year. And all my books, to make it easier for me, because I don't have the time as you indicated. I don't want to sell them myself. I actually sell them over through Amazon because it is easier for a busy person to sell your book through Amazon rather than selling it yourself and trying to get bookshop to sell it for you. Also for me, Amazon has got the biggest marketplace. So that's basically what I've done. So I now have a process, and that's why it's going to be easy for the next 4 titles of my book to be written before December.
So you're able to support all communities. It's almost like that life is operating at a multifaceted basis every single moment for you. How do you get your goals structured like this?
For me, first and foremost, you need to ask yourself one question. What is it? What is the main thing that you want to achieve in life, in your lifetime? So in life and in your lifetime, there must be that one big thing that you want to achieve. Then what you need to do is to say, of these big things, what are the key elements of this big goal that I have? Let me give an example. If I say I want to ultimately own my own company and make lots of money, that could be my big goal in life, right? But then you go to, what is the reason that I want to do this? I want to make sure that my children are left with something to be able to live going forward. I want to make sure that my children go to school and get the highest possible quality of education. So you can go along those lines. Then you start saying, if this is my biggest goal and these are my sub-goals, you now start to prioritize to say which one is required first for me to be able to achieve this. For instance, I can't talk about wanting to start a dental practice if I don't want to go and become a dentist. So you want to own a dental practice, that's your biggest goal, but then it means you must then say, okay, I now need to go to a dental school, have a degree, and from there I can own a dental practice. So that's what you do. Once you have your sub-goals, you then prioritize them in terms of what is important, what must come first, and the why. You do all of those things, then you start working towards them. Now, I must tell you that I am not a fan of yearly goals, calendar yearly goals. I am a fan of a cycle period goal. So in other words, I can, in the middle of the year, and my ones, they don't start in January. My ones start on the 20th of August, which is my birthday. That's when my cycle starts because it is significant. The beginning of the year is something else, the calendar year. But my birthday signifies the start of my life. So I use that as my cycle. And every year on the 20th, I will sit down and analyze what I have achieved and what I need to still achieve and what to do about it. So you can do the yearly ones, it's up to you, but always have a cycle. And in some cases, your cycle may be shorter. I believe that if you are starting up, your cycles should be shorter, like a 6-month, 3-month, 6-month cycle. Then you start going higher for a year, then 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. You cannot start with a 10-year plan at a young age. You need to start smaller. So the more you achieve, the bigger your cycle must become. So that's what I do. But in those cycles, as you've indicated, there will be certain things that you will need to achieve within, say, a period of 1 year or a 6 months or 18 months or whatever the period. Jot this down. And then always, when you come to your cycle of renewal, or should I say evaluation, look at all of those things and say, have I achieved? And why have I not achieved this? And is it still something that I want to achieve? There's nothing wrong going into your goals and deleting a particular goal to say, I no longer want this goal. It no longer serves me any purpose. Let me give you an example again. And it's a bad example, but just hear me out. If you've got a child and you are working to make sure that the child really gets the best education, and you start saving money and you've got a particular goal, you want to save 2 million, 20 million, and you lose that child, that goal is no longer relevant to you going forward, and you can remove it and you can put another goal. So you always need to check, one, if your goals are still relevant. Number two, how far are you in your goal? What is it that made you to achieve those goals, or what made you not to achieve those goals? And what else can you do to move forward with the goal if it's a goal that you are taking forward? I think this always works for everyone. But if I can add, Chantal, if you allow me, is
sure,
many people fail to look at their goals and speak to other people that can assist them. You are the driver, but being the driver does not mean you don't need people that can help you polishing your vehicle, help you put on the tires, help you paint your vehicle when it gets rusted. And you need to associate yourself with those people for each one of the goals, not all of the goals. So I have a person that for goal number 1, I know that they can assist me. But goal number 2, they cannot assist me. And with that, I will get the person that's relevant for goal number 2. So what I'm saying in short, set out your goals clearly. Start with small periods, go to longer periods, then surround yourself with key people that can assist you to achieve each one of those goals. And they must be relevant to those goals.
Okay, so those are your absolute go-tos, and they are amazing. I know that on a daily basis, you are looking at your team, seeing whether or not they're working effectively. Do you need to make any changes? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? What sort of advice do you have for people who just don't know? How do you know? How do you put teams together that can be supportive? And when you get that team together and they're not operating at their goals, they're not reaching their goals, they're not being effective, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with negative behaviors from staff and still move on so that you still have an operating team?
All right. I think let me start by saying this is my own way of looking at members of any team. The members of any team are divided into 3. This is my principles and my theories. There's what I call mowers.
Sure.
There's those that I call maintainers. There's ones I call movers. So it's the 3M. And you need to check, 1, where your organization is at any particular time as you employ these people, because they may not all be the right people for your organization. And I'll explain what I mean by this. For me, mowers are people that when they get into an organization, all they do is to destroy. They destroy systems, they destroy relationships, they destroy customer base, they destroy everything. Now, those are the people that you must avoid by all means. And if they are in your team, you must have the courage and the commitment to actually take them out through the right process, through the right HR process. You don't need mowers in your organization. Then you've got what I call maintainers. Maintainers, they are very good at coming into your organization, and whatever system you've got, they will maintain it to the T. But they will never take you forward, okay? They will never put something new, but they will maintain your system the way you want it. Now, normally, maintainers are good for an organization that is has matured and it's got a huge client base, and all you are interested now is customer service only, mainly efficiencies. Those are good people. And the last people, and sorry, I can also say that sometimes maintainers work very well within a systems environment. So systems must be there. Then you've got movers. I like movers a lot because movers are good for newly built organization where you are putting out your organization. You are trying to build your organization. Those people tend to think about the future. It's not, they look at what you have, they look at the system, and they say, how can we take this system from point A to point J, from point J to point Z? These are people that you can grow your business with. And I say, for anyone to be successful, always look at having a combination of your maintainers as well as your movers. Have at least 3 to 5, well, it depends, but 10% of your employees should be movers if you can. Now, to your question, first of all, you need to be very clear, what is it that is your mission in your dental practice? Because if you don't know what you want to achieve and what is your mission, everyone that comes, as long as they've got skill, you will employ them. All right? Let me give you an example. Someone who is a good CA, like an absolutely good CA, and maybe you've got multiple practices, you can employ him or her in your organization or in your dental business because they have the skill of being a financial person, but they may have the worst customer service skills. Now, if you know that you are trying to delight, and I like the word delight your customers, you won't employ that person regardless of the skill that they have because they are going to destroy your customers. So you need to first say, what is my mission and what is my vision for this particular practice? Once you know that, it is easy to employ people that align to your vision and your mission. If you don't have this, you will employ people that are not even aligned to each other. But if they can all be aligned to the vision and the mission of that particular practice, I can tell you it's going to make it easy for them to work together. That's very important. The last thing that I want to say about this again is that majority of the people in a dental practice or any organization who are not working together is purely because they don't understand the shared vision of that organization. Let me tell you as an example. In my organization, in our organization at SADA, every year I sit with my employees and I tell them the big picture. So this is where we are going for 2023 or 2024.
At the end of every show, what I do is I go through what's called one word wonders. So I'm going to ask you just a series of very quick questions. You can answer it with just one sentence, one word. It's just a quick, what's your thoughts and what immediately just comes into your mind. So I want to know, what is the worst business advice that you've ever took?
Employ educated, experienced people. Not always the best.
Okay, we appreciate that. So where do you see dentistry in 5 years?
Digitized. I see it well digitized and customer-centric.
Okay, fantastic. What is the best advice that you could offer anyone?
Follow your heart, but don't leave your brains behind.
Oh, I love that. I do. What are you most proud of?
I'm proud that I'm a father, a good father to my kids, and I believe that they make me happy.
Oh, that's amazing. I want to congratulate you for being the legacy of magnificence. I think that's the legacy you will leave.
I've absolutely enjoyed this space, and I would love to come back again as a guest here. Anytime you need me, let's chat. I will make myself available. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Casey. We have covered starting up and how to turn your vision into a business. And in our future episodes, we look at leadership. We look at multi-practice success. Now, I'm grateful for you, and I would love to hear your ideas. What questions do you need answered? Please drop me a mail at behindasmile2@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you. And remember, you are heard, you are seen, and on this platform, you are invited. Let's make it happen together.